Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Brandon. You're with Watching and Wine. Thanks a lot for checking out today's video. If you enjoyed today's video, and even if you didn't enjoy today's video, please consider subscribing to the channel. It really helps out a lot, and I'd appreciate it. So I was browsing Joma Shop, which I do from time to time, pretty much every day, but at least every week. I like to look on Joma Shop, see what type of deals are going on, because prices fluctuate a lot. And there's some watches, I'll be watching it. It will go on sale once. That will be it. You won't see that watch again. Some watches, the price will be real low because it will be on sale. They'll shoot back up, and then a couple weeks, that same watch will be on sale again, so you can score it at that low price. So before I buy a timepiece, I kind of like to watch the watches and see how they fluctuate, see if I can get it at the lowest possible point, just like if you're buying stocks. But that doesn't always work out in your favor because those watches can straight disappear, and that's happened to me in the past as well. So I was looking around and I came across a brand in a watch that I think is just tremendous value for money. If any of you guys have experience with this brand or this timepiece in particular, please let me know. I would really love to hear your take on it and see how it feels actually in hand, what the quality of that timepiece is, because I'm just going off of my knowledge, what I've been able to look up, and what I'm seeing on the internet. I haven't actually had this watch in hand. So this is a watch that's on sale. It retails for $4,000 and legitimately retails for $4,000 as far as I've been able to look up. It was on sale for $1,000, but right now with one of Joma Shop's promotions, you can score it for $800. And right now the market is dictating that it's around $800. I wouldn't pay more for this watch, but I think that it's actually a tremendous value for your money, and let me tell you why. So the brand I want to look at today is Eterna. So some of you guys might be familiar with this brand, some of you guys might not be. If you're not, you probably actually are, because you're probably familiar with the Swatch Group, the ETA movements that are featured in all of the Swatch Group watches, some other watches as well. Use ETA movements. A lot of people do. Well, ETA is actually short for Eterna. So Eterna was a watch company that started, I believe, 1856. So they have a tremendous amount of heritage, and they used to make some of the heaviest hitting watches back in the day. They're a really well known and respected brand, but they've kind of just fallen from grace. And I think part of that has to do their marketing. Part of it has to do the design compartment. They make some pretty solid and actually really good looking watches with in-house movements, but nobody knows about these watches in the United States, and they don't really have a desire to be selling them. And I should differentiate that Eterna is not part of the Swatch Group. They sell the ETA movements as kind of like a side business for Eterna, and their in-house movements that they use in their watches aren't the ETA movements. They're their own special in-house movements. And the Eterna group was actually recently purchased by a bigger group out of Hong Kong. It's the same group that purchased Quorum. They have a pretty special in-house movement, actually, which I'm going to get into. But the market just isn't there for them. And you're hard pressed to find a Eterna dealer in some countries, or Eterna watches pretty much anywhere. And that's why the gray market is a good thing. So before we take a look at the watch, I just want to talk a little bit about what some of Eterna's achievements have been. So in the 1870s, Eterna built the first production watch that was built entirely in-house. So that's actually a huge achievement. And I think that's lost on a lot of people because you don't really hear Eterna being brought up. And then in the early 1900s, 1907, Eterna built the first watch with an alarm clock on it. And that's actually a really cool feature that you just really don't see too much today as well. And it's a costly feature as well. If you're going to pick up a watch with the alarm clock on it, it's going to probably cost you a pretty penny. And then one of their last really well-known achievements was in, I believe it was 1980. They built the thinnest watch at the time for any category. It was actually a quartz watch, and I believe it was 98 millimeters thick. And since then, they've been pretty inactive. They have been so inactive that you're actually not going to find an Eterna dealer in the continent of South America. You're not going to find them in the UK. I believe there's 7 in the United States, in the whole United States. And we're not talking about a brand like FP Journe where there's only a couple stores, maybe one store. FP Journe, Richard Mille, couple stores, because they're so prestigious and they cost so much money. It's just because it's bad marketing and they're not selling. So if you look at their website, you'll actually find the list of Eterna retailers. There's just not that many, and they're all ADs. You're not going to find like a boutique like you would Omega, Rolex, or Breitling. If any of you guys are from a country where Eterna is still a really hot watch, please let me know so that I can kind of verify what I'm going off of. Because, there's only so many Eterna dealerships in the world right now, not too many. But I believe where there is one, the watches are selling pretty good, and they're selling kind of close to that full retail mark. But actually, right now, they only have a couple lines. They've kind of scaled things back a bit. I think they've have to because the sales worldwide aren't where they really like them. The most expensive watch they're selling right now, I believe it's around $2,200, which, that's still a lot of money for most people. But this watch I want to talk about today was actually $4,000 when it came out. Joma Shop had it on sale for $1,000, and then it was marked down with the sale to $800. So this is the Adventic GMT with the in-house movement. So what you're looking at here, you're getting a watch. It's 40.5 millimeters diameter case. So you're getting a pretty contemporary case size that works for most people. The dial looks pretty good. It's kind of, it looks black on the pictures, but this is actually like a gray dial. I've seen it in other pictures as well. And you have those little bit of pops of color on the sub-second style, as well as the GMT. I really like the pops of color. I think it's a great looking dial. I like the Eterna's logo. It's actually 5 ball bearings, and that's because in the in-house movement that they're most known for, it's a special type of movement that actually uses those 5 ball bearings to create less friction. And that's kind of how they got a real big name for themselves once they started going. Because like I said, they do have a couple of different interesting achievements. They definitely have some prestige surrounding the brand, but they need to really do some stuff to stay up to date now. Because as you can see, this is a great looking watch, but there's nothing like super special about it. It looks good, but it's not, as eye-catching as some other brands, I would say, and just the marketing surrounding the brand isn't there, and that's what you really need to sell units. But the movement itself is a beautiful movement. I've heard good things about the reliability of the movement, the power reserve. It's all like what you would expect from an in-house watch. And for $800, you'd be hard-pressed to find any other watches, A, with a in-house movement, B, with the prestige that Eterna has on its, its resume. An in-house GMT, a GMT, period, but an in-house GMT, you're not going to find that. I think the sub-seconds is also a great feature because it's just not on too many watches. And the ostrich strap, that's a plus as well, because usually an ostrich strap, costs a couple $100 anyway. So for $800, you're actually getting a really good package. Would I recommend this as somebody's only watch? Maybe. If you're a watch geek, I think it's a great piece because, like I said, it's you're just not going to really find more for that price point. But at the same time, if you're not like super hyped up on the brand, you really wouldn't want that as your only watch because, cost aside, specs aside, all of that, when you look at your watch, it has to make you happy. If it's not doing it for you, then you shouldn't pick up the piece. I think that's kind of where Eterna is having its downfall because people aren't that just excited about the brand like they used to be. But I would probably recommend this watch to some of kind of like my non-watch friends who just want like a really solid piece and they want to spend under $1,000, because I think as far as, you know, spec for spec, they're getting the in-house movement, the leather strap, the ostrich leather strap, GMT, which is cool because a lot of people, non-watch people, don't even realize that watches can have another feature from simply like a three-hand only watch, just telling the time. So when you show them that it can actually track 2 time zones, that's actually a really good thing. And it does come in handy in day life, especially if my friends are dealing with me, because I'm living in Alaska now. And from the East Coast, I believe it's about like a 4 to 5 hour time difference. So this watch would actually be really helpful for me or for any of my buddies that want to call me. Probably for me because I'm usually, you know, they're later, so I'm waking them up at all hours of the night every time I want to have a phone conversation. And then, you know, the sub-seconds is really cool as well. So let me know what you guys think about this watch, if you think it's a great deal. And as far as like resale proposition goes, you're only getting into this watch at $800. Like I said, the market, you know, really isn't there for these watches. But I do not think you're going to lose money. I think you're probably going to be able to recoup most of that $800, if not more. If you look on Chrono24 right now, there's only 16 Eterna watches, Aventic GMT watches, actually, not just Eterna, but they have some of the older models as well. But they have this same watch selling for more than $1,000 all the way up to $2,000. I don't know if people are hidden on it, but if you could double up the money for the watch, that would be actually a great thing. And that usually doesn't happen unless we're dealing with Rolex. So that's just another reason why I think this is a really good watch. And, you know, that shouldn't be the end all be all money, even though, you know, it is with with things a lot of the time, but it shouldn't be. It should be passion. But with that said, everybody likes a good deal, and that's why I'm letting you guys know about this. And I'm not telling you guys, you know, run out, go buy this watch, but I just think it's really interesting. I think the history behind the brand is interesting. I think it's a good looking watch. I wouldn't mind having it in my collection. There's a lot of things going for it. I think it's a lot of watch for the money. I don't think you're going to find as much watch for the money. And it's interesting to see if the resale value is actually there. So let me guys know what you think about this watch. I'd love to hear it down below. Again, thanks so much for checking out the channel. And if you guys like the video, please subscribe. I'd love to have you in for the rest of my videos. Cool, guys. I'll catch you next time.